It's like, well, if I just work, just keep throwing hours at it, then I'll be more productive. And of course, yes, we're invited to work hard. By unhurried, I don't mean spend most of your time in a recliner watching, sports TV or something. Um, but when I enter into the gift of rest, when I enjoy, maybe this is a way to say it. I think our identity is established in rest and then expressed in work. Our culture doesn't see it that way. We think we prove ourselves by all the things we do. I think we express ourselves in what we do, but we're reminded in those moments of rest that God made us. We did not make ourselves. We're not making a name for ourselves. We were given a name. And that then I go out into this world expressing all of that, giving that, being a blessing, having been blessed. Like all of that just is, it's more fruitful. It results in a better life and it results in better work. That's my
Hmm.
experience.
Yes, and when we're experiencing that Sabbath, and if it is time with God, and some of those pieces of rest, it is a place where He gets to define me, and I learn more about who He created. Yeah,
Mhm.
like reading the owner's manual of a car, that somebody else created. It's exactly the same. But and I love how you said Sabbath needs to be something where it's not a I can't, but things that I can't do, but more like I don't have to do. I think it was something
Mm.
like that in the book. When you define like what is Sabbath, what do you mean? How
Yeah,
do you express Sabbath? It's not necessarily a list of things that I can't do, but I don't
right.
have to do.
I like that distinction very much. I think that's lies at the heart of the conflict that Jesus had with, the Jewish leaders, because they had a particular vision of Sabbath, and it was mostly defined in terms of, well, on Sabbath, here's the rather long list of things you are not allowed to do. Like, Jesus heals somebody on Sabbath. Well, I'm sorry, that's on the no-go list. You can't do that on Sabbath. And Jesus just sort of, looks and says, you guys will pull an animal up out of a hole on a Sabbath to save its life, but I can't heal a person's entire body on the Sabbath. And so I like this the sense that on the Sabbath, what the Sabbath was always meant to be is a day that is not measured by you have to, you need to, you should, you ought to, but a day that you get to. I was with a group of leaders here just this last week, and the question of Sabbath came up. And what is it? And how do you do it? And how do you practice it? And one young man with young kids came up and just said, "Oh my goodness, I can't even imagine a Sabbath at this stage of life." And my suggestion was, well, let's say your Sabbath is a Saturday. I don't know, maybe it's a different day, but let's say it's a Saturday. What would you do if you had a day where there was nothing you had to do and you could just do something you wanted to do with your wife and your kids? What would that look like? And I could just see his like a reboot in his facial expressions, like, oh, like he was picturing Sabbath as well. Okay, well, I can't work, can't get anything done. What am I going to do? Sit around? I don't know. Like he couldn't see it as an invitation. It didn't feel welcoming. It felt like, well, I'm supposed to do this because, well, it's a thing to do. Instead of, no, no, no. Here's a day that you don't measure against the ruler of productivity. It's a day to measure, if you have to measure it, against the ruler of love or delight or relationship or um, satisfaction or refreshment or rest or whatever. Um, I I just think Sabbath is a rhythm of creation. It's part of how God made the world. And our lives and our work just function better when we honor that rhythm than when we disregard it.